What is up, you guys? Master Cars of here, and today you find me at Fakhoury Motors taking a look at the 2021 Ferrari SF90 Stradale. I've been wanting to have a look at this car for so long, and now I'm over here invited to have a look at it. So let's see what it's all about. The SF90 Stradale is Ferrari's latest flagship vehicle, showcasing its most advanced innovations in the world of electrification. Ironically, Ferrari's flagship doesn't have a V12, nor is it a limited production vehicle. In fact, it's front-wheel drive in full EV mode with a range of 25 kilometers. It does, however, get a reworked version of the F154 engine we've been seeing in Ferrari's latest V8 supercars, and puts down an impressive 1000 PS aided by 3 electric motors. Surprises don't end here. The analog instrument panel has been replaced with a massive curved digital display, and you'll see in this review that most mechanical controls have been ditched for touch-sensitive counterparts. Note that our car gets Assetto Fiorano carbon fiber parts, but not the full-on weight-saving package. More on that later. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like this video and feel free to skip to any part using YouTube chapters. Here it is, guys, the new SF90 Stradale in all its glory. This is the fastest production Ferrari ever made, and the first series production plug-in hybrid by Ferrari. You can see it looks really good in this red paint, contrasting with the black roof. Let's go ahead and directly jump inside the interior. I have the key right here, still in the packaging. Unlock the car. Now, to open up the door in the SF90, you simply slide your hand in. It opens up the door. You can see down towards the bottom, we have Assetto Fiorano lettering, reminding you that you've paid extra for this performance upgrade. Taking a look at this beautiful new Ferrari interior, I love the way it looks. Smells really good inside here. We have carbon fiber bucket seats. Let's go ahead and see what it's all about. Sitting inside the SF90 Stradale. It's actually really nice seating, surprisingly. We have these beautiful carbon bucket seats, which are really comfortable. No, they're not comfortable at all. You got back pain from them. Don't say they're comfortable. They kind of remind me of the FA Tributo seats we had a look at a few years back. First impressions, it's all about the driver. It's really driver focused. We have touch sensitive controls everywhere around the car. We have a small display over here for the passenger and a huge display in front of the driver, and that's basically it. Let's just turn on the ignition. I'm going to be showing you a POV view of the car and all the controls that you have, because we do have a lot of controls inside this car. So the SF90 sits in between the FA Tributo and the LaFerrari. It does not replace the LaFerrari, even though it is Ferrari's flagship car as of now. It's Ferrari's first series production plug-in hybrid vehicle. We have a V8 sitting in the back, which sits really low in the engine bay. I'm going to be showing you that later. Now, other than that, I really like the design language that they've adopted inside the SF90 Stradale. It resembles more the Ferrari Roma than the FA Tributo that we had a look at. And now with the 296 GTB, it's kind of different design styling on these new generation Ferraris. Now, a quick little feature I wanted to mention. To open up the door, you have this button over here, which opens up the door, and you have carbon fiber accents over there. There isn't actually any mechanical stuff going on, it's more electronic. Going on to the top, again, touch controls. You press on the LED reading lights. They're all touch sensitive, as well as to lock the door and whatnot. And in terms of interior space, I'm 186 centimeters, 6'1", and you can see I have a lot of headroom, and legroom is obviously plenty. I just want to sit here and just go for a drive in this car. I really like the seating position. And you actually have a wide view of the road in front of you, even though the A-pillars are a bit chunky, but they're actually really short. We don't have much gap in between the side windows and the windshield. Alright, enough of me talking nonsense inside the SF90. Let me switch to point of view style to show you what the interior is all about. Alright, so taking a POV look at the interior of the new SF90 Stradale, you can see it's really driver focused, as I mentioned previously. Starting off with the display, it's a 16-inch curved screen, and as you can see, it features all the information you need in the SF90. You can control it via these backlit touch controls over here. It's actually all touch controls. You don't have actual physical buttons. Even the climate control stuff over here, you press, you tap to increase the temperature, or tap below to decrease it, and it's going to change over there on the screen. For example, if I turn on the air conditioning, I just tap, and then to put it off, you can see turn off as so. Then you have the small display for the passenger. We're going to be touching onto that later. You have the driving modes over here. This is for E, to go all silent. This is the hybrid mode, again, to switch between the different road conditions. For example, if I go into race, and then into green for sport, go into blue for wet, and then traction control off on the red. Standard Ferrari stuff we're kind of used to. So just putting it in the race where it's been. Over here for the controls, you can have, this is gonna light up right here. If I press View Max, it's gonna put the whole navigation screen in front of me. If I go and press it again, you're gonna have navigation as well as the rev meter over there on the top. Press it a third time, it goes back to where it was. Now on the left over here, we have the different stuff. If I put it back to home, you have vehicle, audio, navigation. I'm controlling it via this touchpad over here to scroll between the different modes. If I go ahead and go into vehicle, for example, all right, and if I swipe to the right here, you can see I can change the position of everything. Navigation, I can have it on the right, as you're gonna see right now. It's kind of a slow system. A lot of people have complained. Now I wouldn't personally complain, but I see it as a slightly lagging system, and I expected more in a Ferrari. If you press this button over here, it's gonna go into climate control stuff, and you swipe to change, for example, your climate control. This is really nice to have it over here in the driver display, so you don't have to remove your hands off the steering wheel. Now that's basically it for the steering wheel controls. Behind that you have controls for the volume and whatnot, to change that, and the radio stations. Now a cool thing I just figured out on the SF90, it's a quirky little feature, as Doug DeMuro would say. You have this button over here on the top to flash on your high beams. For example, look, if I turn it on, you can see the high beams. We also have a head-up display over here, which is displayed nicely, and you have the brand new S-Class sitting outside of Fakhoury motors. Now over here on the left, again, touch sensitive controls. Obviously you have the controls for the door mirrors as well, to play around with that, and the front lift system is over here to the left of the steering wheel. To open up the door, as I've said before, you press this button over here. Now these buttons over here to open up the front trunk. And this is for the charging port. The charging port is over there on the left side of the driver, and the other one is on the right. Now coming on to the sound of the dashboard, I personally wouldn't call it the dashboard because it has nothing to do with a normal car. But again, it has really nice design. I like this quirky little features that you get. You have an air vent down at the bottom, and you can block that via this control over here, as you would in a normal car. Climate control settings, as I mentioned previously, all touch sensitive. You have the small display for the passenger, which you can turn off from this button. You have basic stuff, performance, to see what the driver is actually doing. Go back, you have navigation, for example. It's this really small display, but I mean, it works. And in the setting menu, you don't have much to play with, but again, it's really nice feature. And you have for the volume. If I change the climate control settings, it's going to display over here as well for the passenger, which is nice to have. Let's just turn off the climate control. And coming on towards the bottom, again, you have storage space over here for a phone. Not very deep, but it works. We have one cup holder over here, and then hazards, obviously. And then over here, I like how it's done with these screws over here. It's very old school, but the controls, for example, you can put it in manual or automatic. You can see this red pulse that goes around, and then in reverse. You can only go in reverse in E mode with the electric motors, and then L for launch control on this car. Now as for practicality goes inside the SF90, it's actually really impressive. I didn't expect that. We have door bins over here to fit whatever you want. I think it can fill a small bottle of water. I'm gonna try that later. We have a glove box, and it's straight over here. It goes really deep, so you can hide in whatever you want inside here. Again, the door bins on the passenger side. To open up this center storage area, again, it's a fairly, it has a fair size. We have a USB port with the 12-volt power outlet over here, which is always nice to have. We don't have a storage space over here, but over there in the back, you can see you can put some stuff, which is nice. The powertrain, which sits significantly lower in the engine bay, consists of a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 capable of 780 PS, and the remaining 220 PS are delivered by the 3 electric motors. 2 on the front axle and 1 sitting at the rear between the engine and transmission. This setup renders the SF90 the first Ferrari sports car with all-wheel drive, allowing for stupidly fast accelerations. There are 4 driving modes to choose from, namely eDrive, Hybrid, Performance and Qualify, with the latter unlocking the full potential of the SF90. The 8-speed wet dual-clutch transmission is blisteringly quick with 200 millisecond shifts, but it also doesn't have a reverse gear, so you reverse using the front E-motors in eDrive mode only. You'll notice in the next clip the lettering RAC-E or RACE behind the front trunk, which is Ferrari's acronym for the fully electric front axle. Ferrari also introduced its new electronic slide slip control, which includes brake-by-wire control for regenerative recovery under braking, and torque vectoring on the front axle to manage electric traction. Alright, so to open up the front trunk or the frunk, you have this button over here, which you press it, I already have it open so as not to fiddle around with the latch over here. We have a decent amount of space, again with the spec sheet on the Ferraris that we're used to see. We have this hybrid system with the glass over here. I really like how Ferrari shows you that. On the rear you have the V8 engine, and then at the front you have some cables that represent the whole hybrid electric system that you get on this car, with the RACE, which stands for something electric at Ferrari. And then on the top you have exposed carbon fiber all around the front hood. Alright, so taking an exterior walk around of the new SF90 Stradale. Now I won't talk much technical stuff, I'll leave that to the voiceover. I just want to show you what it's like up close. Taking a look at those LED lights, you can see we have 3 daytime running lights over here. And if you just forget the lighting element for a second, you can see the body panels, how it curves over here. I really like the design of the headlight cluster that you get, as well as air curtains over here. These are small details that I wouldn't directly pick up. You have this grille over here with carbon fiber accents, and you can see towards over there you have this nice lip, I call it, also for cooling. It's all, you know, aerodynamically efficient on this car. Nothing is here just to look cool, even though it does, but I mean it's all for performance. You can see the design of the hood towards the back. We have 20-inch rims on this car with huge yellow brake calipers. Again, the huge Ferrari emblem that you get over here with the carbon fiber mirrors. I'm a big fan of the design that you get behind the steering wheel with the head-up display stuff going on over there. Alright, so coming on towards the side, you have carbon fiber accents over here, as well as intake for the cooling. We have 2 fuel doors. This is your conventional fuel door, and this is for your charging stuff that goes on in this plug-in hybrid. You have the engine sitting deep down inside the car, and I like that you still get the glass we're used to see on Ferraris, the nice design accents that you have. This has the Assetto Fiorano package, hence the huge carbon fiber rear fixed spoiler that you get. I really like the way it looks. Changes up the whole vibe of the car. You have the nice detail over here, hinting back to old Ferraris, and you can see how the diffuser over here just pushes back on the car. I love the way it's designed. Come on towards the bottom, this huge carbon fiber diffuser, as well as the camera over here, and then the 2 exhaust tips. You can see the valve over here, which is currently open on this car. Again, the prancing horse sitting nicely over there towards the back. I seriously don't understand how people don't drool over the design. It's such a beautiful looking machine, yet purposeful in every detail. The front is characterized by a central intake for the cooling of the electric motors, and you'll find air channels directing fresh air towards the huge Brembo brakes. The car is able to generate a total of 390 kilograms of downforce at 250 kilometers an hour, thanks to smart designs at the front and rear. Towards the back, you'll find a 2-section wing. One is fixed and incorporates the rear brake light, and the other, called the shut-off Gurney, only lowers during harsh braking or cornering. Note that the Assetto Fiorano package adds this carbon fiber rear wing and brings down the weight by 30 kilograms along with a reworked suspension. The front section is slightly raised compared to the central section of the chassis at the point where the Vortex generators are located. These act like F1 barge boards in the sense of energizing airflow towards the rear diffuser. The indent on the hood compresses airflow, and together with the front carbon fiber diffusers generate the downforce over the front axle. You'll also notice the wing profiles on the wheels, which not only add extra downforce, but also smoothen out the air into the side flow by serving as rotor blades. In my own perception of things, the SF90 is to be the next generation Ferrari V8 as an upgrade over the F8 Tributo, where I'd consider the 296 GTB as a new model sitting below the F8 rather than directly replacing it. I know SF90 prices are a different league compared to the F8 Tributo and the models before it, but the non-electric V8 is now gone, and we'll have to do with the hybrid powertrain. Huge thanks to the guys at Fakhoury Motors for inviting me to review the SF90 Stradale, definitely one of my favorite cars I've got my hands on.